It's time!
Falcon fans, and of course, good old Atlanta Falcon fans. Had a little too much fun with that soundboard there at the beginning. T-Will, one time for the fan. We are back. Episode 200.
200.
We are here. Episode 200 here for Falcon fans in the chat. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button because it's free. Falcon fans. For those that do not know, One Time for the Fan is back. We are live here talking Falcons football. Breakfast with One Time for the Fan. Falcon fans talking Falcons football on a Falcons Friday. You can't beat that. T-Will, good morning, sir. How's everything going for you, my brother?
Going well, sir. Can't complain. Thankful to be up this morning. The Lord woke me up. So good. And hey, man, welcome to the fans. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning Falcons show. And looking forward to talking some Falcons football. So without further ado, I defer to you, sir. Let's get
Falcon
to
fans. This is good. This is great to wake up on a Friday morning and talk Falcons with members of the Falcons community that is so passionate about this team. They want to see this team win. They want to see what the 2024 season holds for the Atlanta Falcons fans. And I think so far, Terry, we've done a great job here at One Time for the Fan, talking Falcons football with everybody to a point where we added a show. We didn't have – this show wasn't here last year. Like, this show wasn't here earlier this year. We really started it up because fans kept asking us, talk more Falcons football. We love the Sunday show at 8. We love the Wednesday show at 8, but we need something else. So we came up with Breakfast with One Time for the Fan, which is your Friday morning shows. And I'm sure our West Coast crew, there they go. Our West Coast crew is up.
What's up, D-Ruff? Oh, Jack.
They're up.
No.
They're awake.
No.
I don't know if the sun is up over there.
Look at the post.
It's the first post, and I'm not supposed to read this type of thing.
You gotta give it your signature, no Diddy. Or
Sheesh.
Pause. Pause, as the young
Good
folks
morning,
say.
One time for the one time.
What up,
Rookies on the
D-Ruff?
field this morning.
What's going
Big,
on, D-Ruff?
Number 9 energy. Big number 9 energy. That's what we say here on the channel. Don't want to slip up saying that name one time on the channel. I'll tell you that. The fans will have a field day saying, did you hear what Jack Spade said this morning on One Time for the Fan?
Jack said.
Chat is live, chat is lit, but that's what it's all about.
Party.
Yeah, tag your Falcons friends, tell your Falcons family. Third party action is in the building. So let's go, Falcons. Rise up to third party action.
Rise up.
Rise up to our good friend.
Carrie.
Miss Carrie is in the chat.
What's going on, Miss Carrie?
Good morning, Falcon fans. Happy Friday, everyone. This is 9:21 in the morning, Terry. These are not bots in the chat. These are real Atlanta Falcon fans and a celebrity, too. The Falconators in the chat.
Falconator, what's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for your commitment to our Falcons fans. That's what we do this for. Comments like this. And the Falconator, who was just so gracious enough to join us on draft night.
Draft day, yeah. Yes,
from Detroit, Terry, at a point where he was in the middle of that crowd, right? And it was thousands of people out there. And for Vinny to take the time out of his day to just talk Falcons football with us for about 5 minutes. And we were lit that night for draft night. So if you want to go back and check out the draft show, we started quickly by having another Falcon fan who was on with us, April Showers, and then we went straight to Vinny. Then from Vinny, we went over to Jabri. That day was just crazy because we had about a good 3 hour and some change podcast, Terry, and we had a lot of special guests join with us too as well that day. But since that moment, big shout out to the Falconer. Since that moment, we just been booming, Terry, on a whole nother level. We just been booming here at one time for the fan. And we do want to give a shout out to everybody who was joining us here in the past couple of days here at one time for the fan. But before we get to that, remember the other day we talked about the F1 series down in Miami.
How could I forget? $280 for some lobster rolls? Oh, I didn't forget
we
it.
Talked about the pricing of some of these, some of the food that they were serving at the F1. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and pull it back up so fans can see what we're talking about. Because fans can be like, what are y'all talking about? For those that's here in the chat.
The only thing I'm paying $280 for is 2 Ruth's Chris steaks. I'll do that. I'll do that. That would be outstanding. But other than that, absolutely.
Fans here in the chat, we did a break in the ice the other day talking about some of the food.
This
that
is
was
in Miami, right?
F1 Grand Prix in Miami. In Miami.
Yeah.
$280 lobster rolls
for some lobster rolls.
$290 chilled prawn with mustard sauce. You got to have the mustard sauce, and it should say Bijan mustard sauce, but it's not. It's just mustard sauce. So I'm already upset that I'm spending $300 and there's no Bijan mustard sauce on with my chilled prawn. The crispy wing board is $190. The F1 platter that comes with the crispy chicken tenders was $290. And you guys were on the channel like, what in the hell is going on here with F1? And how did that relate to what we were talking about? Is because the Atlanta Falcons, you know what they do over there at MBS, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they have a incredible pricing selection for fans that come from out of town. Affordable. They come from out of town. They come to watch soccer. They come to watch football, for concerts. It don't matter what it is. I can't step foot into an F1 race and go spend $280 for chilled prawn when I'm used to stuff like this. Falcon fans.
Can't do it.
This is what I'm used to.
$5 for draft beer?
The Benz has spoiled me, Terry.
$2 hot dogs?
I might pull up
$5 cheeseburger.
I might pull up
$3 nachos.
Like, y'all ain't got no $3 waffle fries in here? The Benz has spoiled us all. Falcon fans is heading to the Benz this year. For those that do not know, because there's a lot of first timers in the chat, and we love looking out for the first timers. If you're traveling to an away game, we got the Rise Up Tour fan club. We can get you hooked up on one-stop shop stuff for fans that travel, discounts and all different type of stuff. And then if you're going to the Benz, which, Terry, I told you, I've traveled to a bunch of stadiums before, and I've never seen any stadium in the NFL with prices compared to the Benz.
Yeah, me neither.
A pack of peanuts and a bottle of water at AT&T Stadium was like $50.
Yep.
Look at this, Falcon fans. And I know you Madden franchise holders here in the chat probably looking at this like, oh, I love when I play franchise mode because you can set the prices for the food that you're selling. So I know some fans like to jack up the price to like $11, $12, trying to make that money. We don't do that there on Madden. But Falcon fans here in the chat, Mercedes-Benz Stadium pricing, $5 Bud Light draft beer, Terry, $3 for a piece of slice, $2 popcorn, $2 bottled water, $2 pretzels, $3 nachos, the $2 glizzy with a bun. They give you a glizzy with a bun for $2.
So, Jack, let me ask you a question. It's halftime. The Falcons are beating the literal you-know-what out of the Cowboys. And you're hungry. What is your go-to meal for this menu right here? Falcons are up by 3 touchdowns.
So this is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium pricing for their fan-friendly restaurants that they have at the stadium. So you don't get this at every single restaurant. I don't want fans running up to to Bud and Burger over there at section 130 something and say, "Hey, you guys got the $2 hot dog?" No, some restaurants at the stadium does have the $6 and $7 hot dogs because food's a little bit more. The way that of course the way that they serve it is going to be a little bit different. Some is served like a gourmet type of burger. You know what I'm saying, with extra toppings and stuff like that. They have like barbecue burgers and they have like, different type of food assortments over there at the Mercedes-Benz all the time. But for me, what am I going to go get? I'll probably have to go get some wings. They got some wings on the 200 level. Can't remember the name of the restaurant. It's Tavern. It's Tavern something. But it's right over there by AT&T Perk. So for Falcon fans that's heading into the Benz this year, head on over there by like section 2. It's like 221, but it's something Tavern. But their wings are off the chain, and their garlic parmesan fries are hitting. So I gotta give it up to them for that food. But if I wanted to go get some MBS fan friendly pricing type food, Terry, you can't go wrong with the $6 chicken tender basket because F1 is charging $280 for their chicken tender basket with mustard sauce.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna get the pizza slice. I'm going to get a draft beer. And you know what? Just to, I don't know, venture off the beaten path, I'll probably add some popcorn to it. And that's going to be my meal of choice. So that's $10. That's $10.
Why?
Yeah.
Do we bring this up, Falcon fans? Because there's the fans in the chat. One time for the fan is all about the fan. It's from the fan. It's for the fan. So we want to make sure fans are taken care of when you go to the Benz. And we don't want fans thinking that they have these outrageous prices in the Benz for some of their food. You can get food to feed a family of 4 at the Benz off of pricing like this. And most of y'all will go to a baseball game and get a glizzy anyway. Right? $2 glizzy. Right? $3 waffle fries. Right? You're at the 5 right now. Right? You can get that. You can go get the Coca-Cola refillable cup. Right? You're at 7 right now. Right? One bottle of water. You ain't even at 10 yet. Right? Oh, your son want a piece of slice? Bam, go get another one. You want another one? Bam, go get another one. You got family-friendly prices at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So F1, I call you out again to say, what the hell are y'all doing down there at F1 charging $200, $300 for chicken tenders? When you got a $3.some billion stadium out there in Atlanta charging $6 for chicken tenders.
It's highway robbery.
Breaking the ice. It's highway robbery. This is breaking the ice one time for the fan. I know fans have been asking us. In a way, it is because who knows what the ticket prices are for the Grand Prix, Terry. And then when you get down there, you might get in traffic or you get stuck or you don't want to miss the race or the beginning of the race. And then as soon as you walk in, it's like, I'm so hungry. You might be a first timer because just like me, I might be a first timer going to Grand Prix. Right. And I might look and say, I'm hungry as hell. Just like I might be a first timer walking into the Benz, right? For Atlanta United or for an event, for country, for concerts, for anything. And I might walk in there and say, damn, I'm hungry as hell. 2 different
family
scenes.
of 4, that's a $1,200 meal, sir.
That's expensive as hell if you're trying to feed a family of 4. Just imagine your kids coming to you and say, no, I want my own chicken tender plate at F1. Yeah. That's $280, boy.
And you look, you haven't even purchased a t-shirt. What are the t-shirt? The t-shirts are what, $100?
If the food at F1 is $200 and some dollars, I only want to see what the merch is. Right? And for Falcon fans that is here in the chat, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. We do thank you for waking up with One Time for the Fan. Rise up here with One Time for the Fan because y'all can be doing a million other things, but you're here talking Falcons football on a Falcons Friday with One Time for the Fan. So yes, our Breaking the Ice segment goes to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Big shout out to MBS for their family-friendly prices, affordable too as well. So for fans that's traveling to the Benz this year, be prepared for some family-friendly prices. Third-party actions in the chat. So let's go, you guys, as well. Thanks for your commitment as to Falcons family. Terry, you're seeing this from the chat that they love the commitment that we're showing the Falcons fan base about. Oh, good pass by Luka. Oh, good shot. Is that Kyrie? Oh, watching the highlights over here on SportsCenter. But
okay,
it's not even just the commitment here. from One Time for the Fan, and big shout out to Chase, big shout out to Bodie too as well. We really love talking Falcons football with everybody, right? Like this is 24/7 shit. When we cut the podcast off, we will go back in the chat and still continue talking Falcons. If there's an article about the Falcons, we will post an article about the Falcons. If there's anything that has to do with anything of the Atlanta Falcons, it could be a Kyle Pitts going to breakfast at doggone Flying Biscuit, and they got pictures. We're going to talk about that on One Time for the Fan because fans need something to talk about. It is the off season, and we're just trying to make sure you guys are enjoying the show, enjoying the podcast because this is May 10th, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're months away from the season. We're days away from the schedule to drop, but we want fans to sit back, relax, and just say, hey, there's guys like One Time for the Fan. There's a podcast crew that, really shows that they are passionate about the Atlanta Falcons, that they want the team to win, that they want to see the positive outlook of this team this year and going forward in the future. Terry, with that being said, we had an interesting week here with One Time for the Fan. We can go back to last week, Friday, Terry, when we had A1 on the show. Big shout out to A1 Forever, too, as well.
A1, what's up, man?
Having A1 on the show kind of kicked it off from last week to this week because we love bringing special guests to the show. Big shout out to the Rise of Content Creators, too, as well. But we love bringing special guests to the show. And, Breakfast with One Time for the Fan, we've had probably like 2 special guests. Most of the special guests that we bring to the podcast usually choose the Sunday and Wednesday time slots because it's a little bit better. It's a little bit more convenient. But A1 said, nah, F that. I'm awake. We're going to talk Falcons football. So big shout out to F1 for last week, Friday, Breakfast with One Time for the Fan. We had the chat booming, man. Chat was live at 9-something in the morning. Chat's in here throwing questions around, and I think we was arguing about the Michael Penix situation. But it was just good to see that, Falcon fans do stick together in this community, and we love talking Falcons football. So, Terry, big shout out to A1 from One Time.
A1. Chris, thank you, brother. We appreciate you, as always. True talent. Chris is funny, man. Watch him on that show with Smitty all the time, and Chris is hilarious. Yep. What's up, Carrie? What's up, Deke?
Chat is live. Chat is lit. Then we go to Sunday, Terry, where we have Blogging Dirty's own Lisa Shepard here talking Falcons football.
Miss Lisa.
On our Falcons Fan Talk segment. And once again, chat was live. Chat was in here just going bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to see here. We want Falcon fans to throw the questions. We want Falcon fans to drop your comments about the team, right? But be positive about this fan base and about this team. Don't come in here being disrespectful, right? But we had Lisa Shepard on the podcast Sunday. And when I tell you Lisa Shepard can talk Falcons football, Terry, you saw it. Lisa Shepard can talk Falcons football.
Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Very, very positive. Very positive young lady. Very just very together. Very positive, very together, very very poised, very driven, I would say. And knows football, knows what we need, has a very good, there's some people that can, and this is anybody, this isn't pertaining to gender, but there's some folks that can talk surface football, but Lisa knows it on layers. Lisa, you can tell she's been watching it for quite a while. She knows offenses, defenses, 3-4-4-3 schemes. So it was refreshing to talk to her and Chris as well. But it was definitely refreshing to talk with her and just her energy, man. Her energy is great.
Well, she knows the ins and outs of football. And she definitely knows about the Falcons organization. So it was good to have Lisa Shepard on the podcast with us. So we had A1 on our Friday show. Then we had Lisa Shepard on our Sunday show. Then we're just chilling during the week where Tuesday we get a call from Berto to do a pop-up show, which I must say I didn't expect for the pop-up show to be that lit. Because when you put a bunch of content creators together on the podcast, right, you got to look for everybody's, of course, time slot when they're speaking to as well. You don't want to, take up too much time talking about a topic or something. But then you have like 6-7 special guests on one podcast, chopped it up about the Atlanta Falcons. But when you have guys that can talk Falcons football with you 24 hours a day, like it's going to be entertaining, right?
Yeah.
So we had A1 who was on the panel too as well, Berto who was on the panel, Smitty who was on the panel, DFU Chase Dirty Fanatics United was on the panel too as well. Am I missing anybody? Larry O from the Dixon Way? Was Larry on Dixon Way?
No, he wasn't.
Who am I missing from that panel? Let me go back.
Me and you. That was it. It was 6 of us. It was me and you. So it was
that
Smitty.
Was it.
Yeah, Smitty, Chris, Berto, me, you, and Chase.
Okay.
That was
and that was just great to see right there because Falcon fans, we do this all the time. But whenever we have a chance to do a panel with other content creators, it's always great to see because we get the chance to share our thoughts and ideas about this team in an interesting way. So Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And then Terry, on Wednesday, came right back again with another Falcon podcast. Talking Falcons football. And this has just been great this whole entire week. We've had some new subscribers too as well. So for those in the chat,
new subscribers, welcome.
That's
Glad to
watching,
have you.
That's listening. Please give yourselves a pat on the back. Welcome to One Time for the Fan. You guys join pretty much one of the realest up and coming podcasts out here in the Falcons community. And there's a big shout out goes out to all the content creators in the Falcon community too as well. Those before us and those after us too as well, because we all just want to win at the end of the day. MW, the franchise player, said, "What's good, y'all? Rise up.
Rise up. Rise up."
MW, the Falcons player, is in the building. Jonte Rozier is in the building. Good morning, fellas. 6:30 here in Nevada. Sheesh.
I hear you, Jonte. Hey, let's get after it. Early bird gets the worm.
Or Falcon fans.
The Falcons podcast in this case.
My West Coast Falcon fans are in the chat.
What's up?
You're in Nevada. We're throwing a nice little party for the Falcon fans that's traveling to Vegas this year.
Yeah.
So, John, to definitely make sure you get up with me here at One Time for the Fan. As you can see, Dwayne Ruffin, West Coast Atlanta Falcon fan right here. He's in Cali. Rise Up Tour Fan Club. Tap in Falcons fans before the schedule release, which we have a big podcast coming up on Wednesday. The Rise Up Tour, what we do for these away games, putting on these parties and events on the road and everything. The schedule releases Wednesday. We get to find out where and when we're playing, Terry. We get to find out all that. Oh, the Falcons going to open the season against the Cowboys. And right now, the schedule leaks are going crazy. And usually around this time of the year, there's usually like a random Instagram page or a random Twitter page that pops up that had 0 followers. And then all of a sudden they have 45,000 followers for making 2 posts about the Cowboys Falcons playing week 1 or about the Giants playing the Eagles week 2.
It's the beauty of the internet, my friend.
Mock scheduling. This is crazy.
Mock scheduling.
For Falcon fans here in the chat, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. But you're gonna get that this time of the year. A Falcon fan shared it. Yeah,
fake
you got
to fake mock Fox scheduling.
Yeah, they shared it with me yesterday, Terry. A fan sent me a text and said, "Hey man, Falcons Cowboys week 1 at the Benz Monday Night Football. Can't wait. Should I buy my tickets now? Should you do what? The schedule ain't out yet."
So Jack, what are the accuracy, or the acute nature of the information provided by some of these chats? Are they factual? Are they, or is it just complete and total hyperbole? Like, is it true? Is it not? Like, what's been your experience in past
because
years?
You know what we do with the fan club, right? We can't go off of a schedule leak from some random Twitter page.
Okay.
To say that the Falcons will be playing in Vegas week 4 if I haven't got no confirmation from Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, ESPN, NFL, some of the major accounts. Now, we'll say, of course,
sources.
Yeah, and we didn't get, the NFL did drop the international game between the Browns and the Eagles, so we know that game, right? And, of course, going forward before Wednesday, we probably will hear from the NFL about their, other primetime games. Maybe Amazon might release some information to say, hey, week 7, we got the Cowboys and the Chargers. I love to hear those reports. But some random joker, like I just said, that started his Twitter page 4 days ago and now he's dropping schedule leaks, I'm not for it, right? I think y'all remember the boat conversation going on with Arthur Blank and Bill Belichick. They was on a yacht out there in St. Bart's.
A yakata.
The yakata.
A yakata,
So,
as Hugh used to say. A yakata.
I'm not too big on the schedule leaks until I see it confirmed, Terry. And I think for you too as well, if I send you a random post from some local joker, that's standing behind the Walmart right now talking about, hey man, Falcons playing week 2 against the Vikings. I just seen it. Nah, bro. I want to see.
I'm not trusting anything until it's official, man. Hey, so Jeff loves 4 dogs with jalapenos and mustard and a Coke loaded up on vodka. I hear you, Jeff. Hey, I love me some jalapenos. I love jalapenos with eggs, but I could get down with the jalapenos and the hot dog, man. I could do that. I could definitely do that.
The Falconers in the chat, he said, I love what Mr. Blank does for his fans, but I still got to kick out the money for Big Dave's cheesesteaks on the second level. Guess what, the Falconer? Big Dave's cheesesteaks is not up there no more for the Benz because he's a fan. Big Dave's cheesesteaks is right there next to where I was talking about with the wings and the garlic parmesan fries.
Gotcha.
But when I went there for soccer the other day, Big Dave's cheesesteaks wasn't there, and I was upset. I was mad.
Could it be that Big Dave's is only open during Falcons time, or are they just not there?
They was there all throughout the season. They was there all throughout the season. And the stadium does change, different restaurants and different vendors around the stadium. So it happens all the time. Like they have a new Jamaican spot in there that's actually pretty good. They have a couple new barbecue spots that's in there pretty good. They have a hibachi spot. I don't even think fans know. Walk around the bins. When you get in the bins, walk around the bins. How does the Falconator, who's such a celebrity, who sits up in the suites sometimes? I mean, the Falconator is a big-time Atlanta Falcon fan. He's walking around at 200 level looking for Big Dave's cheesesteaks. The Falconator, what are you doing up there? What are you doing up in the 200 level? You're supposed to be on the field with the team. How do you get a chance to get away from the game to go up there and get Big Dave's?
Get it together.
And we know the Falconator ain't doing this during the play.
Get it together. There
was a video a long time ago, and we don't condone violence here on One Time for the Fan. But
no
Joseph
violence.
Anthony, some of y'all might know Joseph Anthony, the Falcon King. I don't want to mess it up. I'm sorry. But the Rise Up King.
Okay.
So there was a video a long time ago, Joseph Anthony, where a Commanders fan had, I guess there was arguing back and forth, and this Commanders fan felt the need to push Joseph. Right, Terry? Like in the stands during the game. Pushes Joseph. Ugh! Gives him the push.
Get off me.
Joseph now, which Joseph, he's a chirpy type of fan. He does talk a lot of trash, right? But most fans do. That's what the NFL is all about. That's the joy of the NFL, to go to a game and say what you want to say and not be disrespectful, but just root for your team.
Express your fandom.
Right.
Let it out.
This Commander fan felt like Joseph was expressing his fandom too much. So he wants to push. Hey, push. Pushes the guy. Looks like he hurt his arm in the process.
Get off me.
Joseph, I kid you not, this shit is funny. I got the video. Joseph, before he pushes the guy back, he looks on the field at the play first.
Wow.
He doesn't want to miss the play before he goes to get into an altercation with this
That's
fan.
Priorities right there.
That's the funniest shit ever.
Right there.
Because most people that get into that situation like, hey, this guy just pushed me. Fuck the game. We finna go at it. But on the video, you can see Joseph turn and look at the play. Wait till the play is finished and then go back to the guy. That shit was the funniest scene ever.
But he's got his priorities together, man. He's got his priorities.
His priority
together.
was, I'm not missing. The dude just pushed me.
It's 3rd and 5. This'll wait. You say right there, buddy. I'm gonna deal with you in a second.
You stand right there.
But this is 3rd and 5. I need to see if we're gonna complete this. Oh, we did. All right, now I gotta bust your ass. Yeah, I can dig it.
As a Falcon fan watching the video, I'm thinking, this man just pushed you. Push him back.
Hey man,
we gotta go outside. You gotta meet me outside across the street off North Side, bro.
You know what? To me, Joseph was totally confident in his ability to address the situation. You know what I mean? Joseph, that's displaying big number 9 energy right there, buddy. You just weren't even worried about it. You know what I mean? You just like, hey, I'm gonna deal with you
Not
in a
big number
second, but I
9.
need to see what's going on with this play. What's up, Miss Lisa?
But it was
What's
just
going
funny
on?
to see at that moment that Joseph turned around,
Hey,
looked
man.
at the play, and waited for the play to finish, and then went back to the fan.
That's having your priorities together, Jack. That's what that is. You know what I mean? Nobody likes a quitter. That's having your priorities together.
Nobody
What's
likes a
up?
quitter.
Nobody likes a quitter.
He's
Hey,
sitting there
Jack.
with the crown on, full caped on, strapped up, looking like
Hey, man.
Batman.
He was ready. It was that time. He had to deal with it, you know? And hey, you know what? Sometimes as a Falcon fan, you have to deal with multiple things at one time. You have to juggle, right? That's what he did, man. He was juggling. Hey, listen, I was looking at some articles today, Jack, and I saw that
What's up, man?
PFF has ranked the Falcons defensive line as the most or one of the most improved in the league.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
We
Ramel,
did
good
share
morning.
some light on that a couple days ago on One Time for the Fan, but fans here in the chat, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I think they've got it right. The Falcons did add a bunch of beef on that defensive line this year. We have heard the news that possibly Bud Dupree is still in talks with the Falcons. But then again, the Falcons' rookie numbers just dropped, and we're going to get to that in a second. And Bud Dupree's number is gone. So if he does come back, it's going to be a different number for Bud. But then again, there's 2 other teams that's going after Bud Dupree. And Bud Dupree was a big impact for our team last year on that 1-year deal, coming over with, with Arthur Smith, and everybody was excited to see what Bud can do. Him and Calais Campbell definitely helped out in a major way here with the team, with Grady going down early in the season. And of course, David Amiata having some problems too as well. But when you needed that depth at the end of the season, that defensive line, they went through some injuries, right? We had Lakel London and Albert Huggins and Kadarius Street playing late into the season, where our starters, our star players that we wanted out there, they were banged up a little bit. So it's good to have depth. So the Falcons improving on that depth this year in the offseason, going after and bringing in James Smith-Williams. Don't forget about James Smith-Williams too as well. High motor kid from the Washington Commanders. Everybody's forgetting about James Smith-Williams. Go watch his tape. You guys will love what you see with the guy. Zach Harrison too as well, who's still with the team. Tyquan Graham too as well. Grady Jarrett, David Amiata, and then you went to go get Brandon Dorless. Of course, you got Brilling Trice. And of course, Zion, the kid from Georgia, Rook too as well. So they added some muscle on that defensive line and a lot of depth. And I don't think they're finished there yet. There could be some players you have to watch for come camp that could possibly make the 53. Even a couple of walk-ons too as well that we'll talk about as camp gets ready to get started. But Terry, I think they did get it right that we are one of the most improved defensive lines here. Because let's just say you would have came out of that draft with one defensive lineman. They would have never said that.
No.
You went and you got some guys who can push the pocket. You went and got some guys that when you put them all together in this scheme fit, all the big name journalists and analytics who watched the game and they know the team and how this 3-4 scheme would work, they look and see Brandon Trice and say, that's going to work for the Falcons. They look and see Dorless and say, oh, that kid from Oregon, that's going to work for the Falcons. Rook, defensive tackle, no, that's what you need in that middle to plug gaps. That's going to work for the Falcons. And then you got the big boy like Zion, like 6'5", 6'6", who's going to be able to put, a lot into this Falcons organization this season, because we know Terry loves to play the draft picks. So even down to the 5th round, Terry, even down to the 6th round, it was good seeing those players get picked up, because it's like, we're going to play these guys. Right? Some teams will not play those picks in the 4th round, in the 5th round, in the 6th round. They're going to sit and wait. Now, I know some fans are thinking, well, your first rounder is sitting, so everybody else must play. But no, it's not like that. Terry did a good job with this draft. They did improve the defensive line. And not even with PFF, Terry, Pro Football Network, another group of journalists who covered the Falcons, who covered the NFL, they mentioned that the Falcons have one of the best backup quarterback rooms in the NFL too as well. So Terry, here's to you. What do you say about PFF with the Falcons having one of the most improved defensive lines? And then of course, Pro Football Network saying that the Falcons are ranked 7th in backup quarterback rankings.
I'd say it looks like we have our priorities together. my follow-up question to you was going to be, because if you really look at it, right, our defensive line is improved. There's no way you can't take a look at who we have versus who we had last year and not draw the conclusion that, okay, number one, we are improved. Number two, we have depth. Number three, we're prepared to go through adversity. But my follow-up question to you is, do you think that after rounds 2, 3, and 4, right? And to me, the takeaway is our front seven is very good. Very good. Our linebacking core, excellent. Our defensive line, very good. Do you think maybe that's why they ultimately decided not to draft a cornerback? Because the thought process is, we'll get there with pressure with the front seven, and the cornerbacks won't have to cover for that long. And it's a question. It's not a statement. So I'm throwing that out of you. What do you think? Do you think that could have been a thought process? Let me put it that way. Go ahead.
I just felt like the Falcons looked at that draft board and said, we don't have to reach for a corner. The signing of the two corners before the draft,
Kevin King, Antonio Hamilton.
We talked about it on the channel, where if you're going into the draft and you just signed two corners, that's going to be a tough decision in round one to go get a corner. You're giving guys a chance to fight here. I think fans kind of overlooked that, to say Antonio Hamilton, Kevin King, those are camp bodies, guys. Nah. Antonio Hamilton's percentage of his snap count, and he's been on the field a lot. So I can see Antonio Hamilton on this roster. Kevin King has started in the NFL too as well. That's true. Before he took some time away. Before he did his Eddie Goldman. He was in a situation where he was also a starter in the NFL. So, and he was familiar with, of course, Jerry Gray and, some of the secondary coaches here on the team. But Terry, the Falcons made a decision to beef up the defensive line. They felt like after the draft, and you heard Terry's comments, Raheem's comments, that they didn't want to reach for a corner, and they can still make some moves too as well. They were going to go look at the roster. Remember, they talked about it the other day on the veteran mini camps, where it's good to see the vets in the building, because you get an early look at what you need going forward. Right. So the vets that was in the building earlier this week, when you saw the pictures of Kurt and Tyler and Bijan, everybody's out there having a good time working out. It's a workout, but also you get a chance to look over your offseason programs, go through your playbook, go through, which members of these veterans are going to be a part of the 53. Right. And then you get a chance to go look and see, you know what, maybe we need to add to that wide receiver room. I don't think the wide receiver room is strong enough. Maybe we got to add to that defensive back room. We got to get another cornerback in here. So it's good to see that over a period of time, with roster spots available still right now, that the Falcons could go make a couple of moves, bring in some bodies who's not going to be camp bodies, but they're going to fight for a spot. I don't think the Falcons' next 4 moves that's going to happen in a matter of days before camp starts are going to be camp bodies. I think they're going to be some guys that come in here and compete. If they go sign a wide receiver with number 2 potential, now the number 2 potential for who can be the wide receiver is back on the table. Now, everybody's saying Mooney right now. Let's just say they go sign somebody who's been in number 2 before. It's like, oh shit. Well, Terry in the past, he might trade for somebody. I mean, you saw what happened with Brian Edwards. We tried to get Brian Edwards a chance to get out there and catch a few passes here in Atlanta. Closer to the season, they brought in Van Jefferson too as well, a guy that they were familiar with. So you have to go over what could happen here in the next couple of days. But I think the Falcons chose to beef up that defensive line, and they're looking at the secondary right now, just like every fan in the NFL. And matter of fact, Terry, you're talking about the cornerback position. There was a report the other day that talked about what is the biggest roster hole needed to be filled for the Atlanta Falcons right now. And it was safety that was brought up. And these were the comments. Jesse Bates is a star at free safety, but the Falcons' strong safety position is a mess. This is what the reporters are saying. Richie Grant has regressed significantly in his 3 NFL seasons, in particular to giving up a lot of big plays to opposing tight ends. The alternative to Grant is 2023 7th rounder DeMarco Hellams. He's physical but lacks speed, so he might also be a problem when covering tight ends. This is not me talking, Falcons fans.
Mm-hmm.
These are journalists who cover the NFL and is looking at the Falcons saying, oh, good draft. Michael Penix, quarterback for the future. All right, cool. Brandon Dorlus, Berlin Trice, Rook Aurora. That's cool. But you didn't go after the safety spot. And we're looking outside of Jesse Bates, and it's like, you put Richie in a one-on-one, you might be in trouble.
Mm.
So there's a couple free agents that's out there. Fans are still calling for a couple more names that the Falcons can go look at and bring in and bolster this defensive unit. But for me, Terry, I'm glad with the Falcons draft right now and still with a couple of roster spots available. I do think that they bring in a couple of names that fans are going to say, whoa, shit, this guy's pretty good. Yes. Go ahead, Terry.
No, you're fine. I was letting you finish. So again, I think we're on this. I think we're aligned, Jack. We think we're on the same page. Ultimately, I think they didn't want to reach on a corner, but I think they took a look and said, look, our defensive line is phenomenal. Our linebacking core is excellent. We can coach up the guys in the back. And to your point, Jack, there's still time. You're going to have cap casualties. You've got mini camp. You've got training camp. You've got the preseason. There's still time to address the I'm not going to call them holes, but the areas that need improvement. There's still time for that. So that's okay. Another article I saw, Jack, that I found was interesting is Raheem was talking about, I guess, draft strategies, in particular, the fact that when they look at defenders, they like guys with longer arms because there's some study that they commissioned that said, typically guys with longer arms don't miss tackles. So with the exception of Bertrand, who I think has shorter arms, everybody that they drafted was at least 32 to 34 inches. What do you think about that? Do you think they're on to something? Do you think that's complete malarkey? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Draft strategy is big for coaches in the NFL. I think it's way bigger than for fans and podcasters because our draft strategy here was a little bit different than what Terry and them had going on in that room.
Yes, it was.
But look at the guys that they brought in. They didn't bring in undersized defensive linemen. They brought in big bodies, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Muscle, pure muscle on the line. They talked about hands and technique. I heard Terry mentioning that too as well, about hands and great makeup. He kept talking about that. He has great makeup. He has great shape. JD could be a 4-down guy. Fans overlook that when they talk about some of these players. They just think of a name. Oh, this guy is great. Go get the kid from Illinois. He's a monster in the second round. But what else can he do to fit this scheme? Otherwise, he just being a big name in the second round. So I think that Falcon fans got to look at some of the measurements too as well of what the Falcons look at. They look at Casey Washington. One of the things that they mentioned about Casey Washington was his vert, the 39.5 at the combine or his pro day. They talked about him winning one-on-one matchups, right? You know how big draft strategy is for Falcon fans? For the Falcons organization. They got to get the right people that fit their scheme. So if they're looking at a player and they're looking at his size and wingspan, and they're looking at his weight, height, I think people can look at Deion Jones and said he was an undersized linebacker. That's why he couldn't really fit into the NFL. Some will look at Nakobe Dean and say the same thing. How's Nakobe Dean doing this? Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
But I think the Falcons in the past couple years, through the draft, Terry, with Terry Fontenot, your cousin's, neighbor's, brother's mechanic, through Terry Fontenot, has did a good job of bringing in players that Falcons can say could possibly be here for long term. Arnold Ebiketie is a guy where you can look at him as his Penn State tape and say, what did the Falcons see in this kid? And now as you watch into him in his development stage, you're like, oh, now I see what the Falcons see in this kid. And we can get that for Rook. We can get that for Trice. We can get that for Dorlus. But they brought in some guys, Terry, who can not only push the pocket, but these are weight room junkies too as well. They're going to be in there 24/7 because they're young guys, right? Hold on. What is the Falcons? Falcons just tweeted something. Oh, shit. Sorry, Terry. The Falcons just tweeted something.
All good. No worries.
Well, they're talking about Berlin Trice. Matter of fact, can we get straight to that? I mean, the Falcons just tweeted something here.
Let's do it.
Because as you talk about this, we're talking about the rookies, right?
Talking about the rookies.
All right, Falcons just tweeted something. You know we don't play around with these Atlanta Falcons. Where you at, Falcons? What we got here? Oh, Savion Mixon. Don't forget, Savion Mixon's going to be with us next week, Friday, for breakfast with One Time for the Fan. Falcons just posted, bringing pressure. We should talk about the length and size of these rookies and, their measurements of the wingspan and height. And, of course, their workout routine. Well, look at this, Terry. This is two of your most improved defensive line that you just mentioned. That's Braylon Trice and Brandon Dorlus. Most pressures by an edge in 2023. 81 Braylon Trice. Look at this guy. Jesus Christ. You gonna eat your cornbread? I mean, I'm gonna eat my cornbread. Brandon Dorlus. Most pressures by a defensive tackle since 2021. 134. Terry, this is a shit ton of pressures that you just put on that defensive line.
How tall is Braylon Trice? Is he 6'6", 6'7"?
Braylon Trice, I believe, with cleats is 6'5".
Okay.
Terry, you can't be. You look at the size of these guys right here when it comes to playing football. I mean, let's get Braylon Trice. Where you at, Trice? All right, I got his stats pulled up right here. He's 6'4". So yeah, with cleats is about 6'5". It says 245 as an outside linebacker. I'd probably get him to like 260. Muscle him out. He's already destroying. Matter of fact, where he is right now is actually pretty good. He's destroying tight ends. He's beating 2-on-1s easily. Easily.
Berto Damas predicted that Doris is going to have that's Berto from 95 North, but I call him Berto Damas because he apparently can look into the future and determine who the Falcons are going to pick and sign. So,
Yeah, but he didn't give me the cash numbers or the Mega Millions yet. So until Berto Damas gives me something
if you could just drop the Mega Millions in there, would really appreciate it, man. You know what I mean? Would really appreciate it. But no, I think this defensive line is going to be really good. I'll be honest with you. If the Falcons do nothing else to even address safety, I think we'd be all right. Now, I think they will. But honestly,
I think they will.
Especially if we're going to play a lot of zone, which is what's being predicted, you can get away with, I would say a player that's not particularly great in man, right? You can hide them. You can get away with that, so to speak. But I just think this defensive line is going to be phenomenal. I think our linebackers are going to be phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, Jack, I understand we have 9 games this year at home. Did you notice that? Did you peep that? Did you catch that? Yeah, so that's one more than normal. That's I don't know, man. I have we ever had a season where we had 9 games at home?
That's another win, Terry. That's what it is.
Get it. I get it. But I think this is the first time we've had 9 games.
I believe so too. I mean, and by the next 5 or 10 years, hell, we might be playing 23 games the way this NFL is looking. They're not playing. They're trying to get games every day of the week right now.
Last year we went to London, right? We go to London.
We took the home game away from us too as well.
Was that a home game?
No, that was we was going as the away team.
Okay.
But I know for the season ticket holders, it was kind of weird how they did the schedule for us because let's see, next year we're supposed to have. I believe we're going back international next year, so we should have 8 home games, and then the extra one is going to be on the road. But the NFL is going to be switching things up from time to time, so it's going to be kind of crazy. But for fans here in the chat, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We are getting ready to wrap up the podcast in a minute, but the chat is crazy. Terry, this is the thing about the chat. We don't have to have no topics. We can just turn on the podcast, say, "What's up, Falcon fans?" and the chat is going to go crazy.
I hear you, Ricky. I hear you.
Ricky said, "What's up, everybody? Heading to Fort Valley U to pick up my daughter for summer while listening to Falcons content." Big shout out to Ricky. Terry?
I have a question for you and the fans, right? I often lament on this. Who do you think would win in a foot race between Deion Sanders, Michael Vick, Dante Hall, and Julio Jones?
Shit. I gotta go probably Dante Hall.
I know Dante was fast. I'm going with Michael Vick, man.
How about I go with
going with
Dante? Dante or Vic?
I'm
Everybody in
going
their prime, gotta go with Dante or Vic.
Yeah, I'm going with Michael Vick, man. I don't think. I mean, I know Julio was fast because there are tapes of Julio just running folks down.
Mm-hmm.
But and plus he's tall and has that long stride. What's up, Berto? Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Michael Vick. Michael Vick made two Minnesota defenders run into each other. You know, that can't be discounted. I'm gonna go with Michael Vick. I'm gonna do that.
My boy Berto said 172, 87, 78. Those are the numbers for tonight, everybody. 72, 87, 78. And
Berto's going with Dante Hall. Whatever, man. I'm going with Michael Vick. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm going with Vick. I think, and I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close. That's the thing about it. I think Vick wins hands down. You know, I don't think it's close, but whatever.
Falcon fans, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. As we get ready to wrap up the podcast, we'll go get ready to finish up on these comments here. I got to get ready to head out in a second. But the rookies, Falcon fans, are in the building. Rookie minicamp is getting ready to get started here shortly. And the rookies have chosen their numbers too as well. Don't know how much Michael Penix paid Rondo Moore for that number 9, but he got it. But you see here, Falcon fans, 59 for Zion, 82 for Casey Washington, 54 for Brandon Dorlus, 48 Bud Dupree, 48 for Berlin Trice, 98 for Rook, 30 for Jace, 40 Keith Smith. Where you at? JD Bertram, and of course our future quarterback here in Atlanta, Michael Penix Jr. selects number 9. So for Falcon fans in the chat that's waiting to get your Falcon jerseys for these rookies, wait no more. The numbers are out. Question for you, Terry. And question for the chat too as well, because I want to see your answers, because I'm getting ready to go to the chat before we wrap up the show here. Will there be more Michael Penix jerseys than Kirk Cousins jerseys at the Benz this year? I have to ask. Because you're going to go buy a jersey from a guy who's probably not going to be playing as the starter, as it looks like, for the next 2 years and some change. Possibly. As a fan, are you getting a Michael Penix jersey now? Are you waiting? Are we showing up to the Benz where everybody is sitting in there with a number 9 jersey? For Michael Penix, that is. Not too many other number 9s on the team from last year. But are you sitting in the Benz this year, Terry, with your Michael Penix jersey, your Kirk Cousins jersey? I mean, do you really care? Some fans are talking about it, saying that there's probably going to be more Michael Penix jerseys out there than Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins he's a hot seller when it comes to jerseys, right? I mean, he's no slouch at quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. I can see a lot of these fans rooting for Kirk too as well. I'm rooting for Kirk. But your thoughts, Terry, on jersey sales with Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins?
I'm gonna say, you know what? It could evolve, right? I mean, this is Atlanta, and that's enough said. But you know, if we come out and let's say we win our first 11 out of 13 games, and Kirk's quarterbacking, then it'll probably be a slow build of Kirk Cousins jerseys that sell, and maybe so. You know, if not, then you're going to have a certain amount of folks that come out and buy Penix anyway, right? So I guess it just depends on the success that we have as a team, because winning cures everything. So I don't know, man. If we come out and we're wildly successful, Kirk may inch him out by just a little bit, and you know, I don't even want to think about any other scenarios. I'm going to be positive. I'm not going to discuss any other scenarios. So I'm going to say Penix in the beginning, and Kirk's going to edge him out in the end, because we're going to be successful. We're going to win 12 games, go to the playoffs, win our first playoff game since 2017, and make a deep run. That's what I'm going to say. So, yeah.
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button in the chat. Tag your Falcons friends, tell your Falcons family that we're just here talking Falcons football with Falcon fans. Raymond Collins is in the chat. Jalen Jones.
What's up, Raymond?
What's up, Sterling Woods is in the chat. Berto.
What's up?
LaMarcus Boyd. Jonta is in the chat. Carrie's in the chat. Ricky Smith is out here in the chat. Jeff Wolf is in the chat.
What's up, Jeff?
Is in the chat. James Doctor.
Jalapenos.
Travis
on the hot
Preston,
dog.
Lisa Shepard, the Falconator,
Miss Shepard,
Dwayne
Falconator,
Ruffin, our good friend Marina is here in the chat
rough.
too as well. We can't forget about Marina. Don't forget about Deshaun Coswell trying to stomp us here.
And I saw it, and I already know what it is. That is one Mr. LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care. You tell they whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's LL Cool J.
Deshaun, you definitely got your hands full here with this trivia. Now that you got T-Will here at one time for the fan.
Hey man, old school.
He's like 0 for 5 right now against us. When he had Bodie here, he would get us.
He got us with the. There's one he got us with. Cool Hurt, DJ Cool Hurt.
DJ Cool Hurt, he had us with a couple days ago.
He got us with that.
He stomps us with the music trivia too as well. When
Bodie
was here, I would say it was a lot of times I'll turn to Bodie and say, Bodie, what you got? He's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I guess Deshaun wins today. But I guess when Bodie comes back here to one time for the fan, big shout out to Bodie. He's gonna be ready for these questions too as well. I'm sure he's probably brushed up on his music trivia too as well, right? Because I know Deshaun loves to try to stomp us here on one time for the fan. LaMarcus Boyd said West Coast in the house. You have a lot of West Coast
in the house
Falcon fans. LaMarcus is in AZ. You got Deke Ruffin who's in California. You got Jonathan who's out there in the Nevada area. So Falcon fans are live and lit this morning. Dave is also in the chat.
What up, Dave?
Big
What's going on?
Shout out to Dave. Big shout out to my team too as well. Oh, I'm sorry. A team that I was running with last night. Go Alexy. We won the tournament last night up to about 3 a.m, kicking ass in esports. But video is saved. I'm gonna post a video on my gaming channel.
Congratulations!
But yeah, we went crazy last night.
Congratulations!
So,
yeah, man.
32 team tournament, played up to about 2:30 in the morning. For most West Coast people, that's their tournament. It was, early for them, but it was late for us here in the South. Dave's in the chat too as well. He said, I hope the Falcons continue to ignore this smoke around the quarterback room. It is not a story at Flowery Branch. It is not a story at Flowery Branch. It's a story in the offices in New York and Washington and LA. And I don't know, where is these people from Get Up on right now? I guess they're in Chicago or something. I don't know. But I'm guaranteeing you they're probably going to show something that has to do with the Falcons and Michael Penix. They're not going to talk about Jesse Bates. They're not going to talk about Chris Lindstrom.
Of course.
They're not going to talk about Bijan with the impact he made last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to talk about Terry Fontenot with the amazing moves that he's made this offseason. They're going to talk about Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins. They're going to try to create the divide. Don't fall for it, Falcon.
Kill the narrative.
Kill the narrative. You hear what Terry said the other day? # kill the narrative, because there's going to be fans that's going to take what they say on Get Up, take what they say on First Take, and go into the chats, the Falcon community chats, and then try to stir up some beef. Right? Oh, you see this? They said it, so we're gonna say it too. No.
You know what's the most dangerous? What is the most dangerous? It's not just the Falcon fan that takes it into the chat. It's the Falcons fan that takes it into the bins. That's a good walks one, up in there with that doubt, with that negativity, because energy, right, is contagious.
What to help you before they even get to the bins? They're doing it at training camp.
Yeah,
they get a chance to see the player face to face.
Yeah, it's contagious, right? And at the end of the day, look, man, you can say whatever you want to about the Eagles. Their fans live and die with them, and when you go to a stadium like that, you feel that energy. You do. I don't care what you look. You pick a team like Philly. You pick a team like the Knicks in New York, you go to their stadiums, you're going to feel that energy. As a visiting player, I see you, Michael, you're going to feel that energy. And the dangerous nature of all of these posts is they're not founded on anything. Right? We just said, let's look at the facts, people. You don't have to agree with me. Let's look at the facts. PFF said that we have one of the most improved defensive lines in football. This is PFF, right?
I love the numbers, guys. They can sit around and just talk numbers all day.
PFF also said that Michael Penix, other than Caleb Williams, was the best quarterback in the draft. You can look this up. We got the number 2 quarterback in the draft at pick number 8, and we drafted 4 defensive linemen. In my mind's eye, that is a successful draft. So if it's a successful draft, What are we talking about? You're talking about $100 million. $45 million is the standard for any decent quarterback in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think for yourselves. That's all I'm saying. Think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. Do not be spoon-fed, right? Do not listen to the Pied Piper of negativity. Oh, they don't care about your Falcons. They don't care about you. They don't care that you spent your money. They don't care about you. They're trying to sell airtime. If you want to know the truth, they just want you to watch the show long enough to watch the commercials. That's it. That's it. So why then are you taking what they're saying too hard as if they care about you? They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Kill the narrative. Kill the narrative. Got one story for you, and this will be my shout out because I know you got to go, Jack.
I mean, you got time. You good. You good. We're just letting it ride. You know, we're talking Falcons football here.
Got one story for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a man that wanted to be successful. He just wanted to be successful. So he's out, and one day he sees this impressive businessman who's driving a Bentley GT. I love the Bentley GT. Got the rollie on. This isn't a rollie, by the way. It's not.
Shit.
You know, just
don't want nobody watching the podcast like, where Terry going after this?
Hey.
You talking look, Bentleys and rollies?
Hey, I wish Terry going back to work. Terry going right to work after this podcast. But in all seriousness, guys, he meets the gentleman and he says, you know, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, you're very successful at. I just want you to teach me. Can you just teach me how to be successful? And at first, the businessman is a little reluctant because, you know, his time is valuable. He's got stuff to do. But after the guy just continues to plead and beg, he finally agrees. He says, okay, meet me at the beach tomorrow, right? So the guy shows up decked out in a three-piece suit, got a briefcase, got, $1,000 shoes on, and he's just, he's psyched. And the businessman is in the beach. He's in the water. And the businessman says, hey, man, come on out to the water. And he says, what? What? He says, hey, you wanted to take my class. Come on out to the water.
Mm-hmm.
He reluctantly moves forward, goes out, gets in the water. And he's in the water up to his knees. And the businessman says, come out a little deeper. And he comes out and he's in the water up to his waist. And the businessman says, come out a little deeper. And he comes out and the water's up to his chest. And he says, no, you got to come out deeper. And he comes out and finally he's submerged underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And the businessman is talking to him and telling him to hold his breath and all of this other stuff. And finally he says, all right, we can go back to the beach now. We can go back to the land. He goes back. He says, you told me I was going to learn how to be successful. We're out on the beach. What does this have to do with anything? He says, this man says, yeah, that's a good point. He says, let me ask you a question. He said, when you were underwater, what was the main thing that you were trying to do? He was like, I just wanted to hold my breath so I could breathe. He said, exactly. You just wanted to breathe, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was important. You just wanted to breathe, right? He said, yeah. He said, guess what? When you want success, as bad as you want to breathe, when you need success as bad as you want to breathe, you will be successful. Mm-hmm. And nobody will be able to tell you anything. Falcons fans, when you want a Super Bowl as bad as you want to breathe, all the outside noise isn't going to matter. Mm-hmm. It's not going to matter at all. When you want a Super Bowl as bad as you need oxygen, it ain't going to matter what ESPN, what any other network says about your Falcons, because you're going to be tuned in. Because when you go to training camp, you ain't worried about what they said. You're looking at the players. You're trying to provide the energy and the environment so our guys can succeed. Guys, we're not just a team on the field. We are a team off the field. We, the fans, we provide the environment. We set the stage, right? We can't do that if we're not in the right headspace. We can't do that if we don't want success as bad as we want to breathe. Again, kill the narrative. Kill the narrative. We either win as a team or we die as individuals. That's all I got. That's it.
You get some Falcons fans that can talk Falcons football, and then you get Terry who can take outside success stories, or it could be a family story, and it can relate to the Falcons too as well, because the end of the day, Falcon fans, I was feeling like that back in 2016 when I was heading to that Super Bowl. When I was driving down to Houston, couldn't nobody tell me nothing about these Falcons. When we beat Green Bay that game back in the Dome, couldn't nobody tell me nothing about this team. And kind of looking at it right now, I'm looking at the narrative of what they're trying to do. Because the narrative for the media has always been about this quarterback, Falcons, quarterback. They tried it with Deshaun Watson. They tried it with Lamar. They tried so heavy with Lamar that they're still trying it.
They are.
If Lamar becomes a free agent tomorrow, they're going to say, the Falcons, you might have an opportunity to go get this guy. With Kirk and Michael Penix, if Lamar becomes a free agent, they'll say, Falcons, this is the opportunity you can't pass up on. So, Terry, I got to tell you, man, the success story of what you had definitely fits in to the Falcons because block all the outside noise, Falcon fans, when it comes
to the
narrative. Let's not worry about what they're saying outside of the Falcons community. Let's worry about what's happening in the Falcons community. Terry, Raheem, and the crew, they're building a successful team that's going to be on the up this year. I think Falcon fans can see it. If you have Kurt on the field or if you have Michael Penix on the field, it doesn't change what the long-term goal is. Go win some fucking games, right? Get the job done. Pack out the bins. Create that hostile environment, right? On the road and at home, too, as well. Falcon fans are in the chat. They are live. They are lit as we get ready to wrap up one time for the fan. Where Berto at? Berto's in the chat asking questions over here. Where is he at? Oh, here he is. Question for Jack. Dominicans play soccer? They play Call of Duty and MLB. They don't play too much FIFA. Falcon fans in the chat are live. Auntie Pam's in the chat. Big shout out to Auntie Pam. Hello, Jack and Terry.
Hey, Auntie Pam.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, Auntie Pam.
MW, the franchise player, said, Terry with the rollie? I tell you, they're already watching.
It's not a rollie.
Terry, you better turn around and show them screens back there. That's a security unit right there that you're looking at. You're looking at the house, the garage, the backyard. He's watching that. He got a camera in the Bentley and watching the Bentley. He ain't playing around with y'all. Terry's over here talking rollies and Bentley. He had me checking I was looking for my wallet for a second. Like, God damn, where am I at?
I wish I had a Bentley.
This is great.
I wish I did.
Auntie Pam said, when you get a chance, you all need to look at the podcast. Patrick Peterson and McFadden, they had Michael Penix Jr. on there. It was very informative. Terry, we look like we got some homework for today. We got to go watch
the Michael Penix
podcast.
Looks like we do.
And that's great because I have time. So Jay and Nick Truck said, oh, he also cracked the joke to Bodie. I took a picture and I sent it to Bodie too as well. I was like, you better go watch this man's car before Mother's Day Sunday. Bentleys and Rollies. Sheesh.
I hear that.
My boy Big J. Hey, shout out to Jay, man, because Jay will join the podcast sometimes, and he's been on the podcast during the show. Sundays, Wednesdays, different times. But a lot of times he might catch it after the show, right? And he'll leave a comment after the show. So Jay is here talking Falcons football at 10-something in the morning. So maybe breakfast with one time for the fan is working the right way. That Jay is here on a Friday show talking Falcons football with us. That's a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan, right? MW, the franchise player. Look at his picture. That's a diehard Atlanta Falcon player.
I hear you. I hear you, MW. I hear you, Jay.
Diehard.
What's up, Michael?
Atlanta Falcon fans. DSGB Hall said, man, woke up to Terry preaching. He's on the West Coast. Another West Coast fan is in here. Terry,
thank you,
I can relate to you. Terry, you might want to start your life coach classes or your
man.
How you want to do it?
Hey.
What's it, Gary? What's the guy's name? Gary V? Is that the guy?
Yeah. Hey man, just
you gotta wake up this morning. You want to be great? You want to be great? Come on, let me show you. Come on over here. Let me show you right now. Take a look at this board.
Hey man, you know what? Honestly, my brother and I had this conversation about 3 years ago, and he was talking about the environment and the feedback that some Falcons players feel when there's negativity abound. And it was a real conversation. And the thing about it is, guys, let me tell you something. I watched the 2016 Super Bowl, and obviously it was gut-wrenching that we didn't win, but I didn't feel bad because as a fan, I left it all out on the floor. I screamed, I cheered, I rooted for them. Look, every outcome, you can't determine the outcome, right? you can contribute to it. You can because energy, you can feel energy, right? You know that the wind is there. You don't see it, but you know it's there, right? Energy is the same way, right? You can feel it. And what I'm saying is not that, look, there's no perfect teams. And I'm not saying the Falcons are perfect. What I am saying is we need to block out the white noise. We need to kill the narrative. This is a narrative that has followed all Atlanta teams. Think about it. The Braves, right? They won it in 95, but they hadn't won it before 2021. You know what Freddie's main thing was? Kill the narrative. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and look it up. Why did he feel that? Because you can feel that energy. You can feel that. So it's not just the Falcons they say this about. It's the Falcons. It was the Braves. Of course, it's the Hawks. It's not the Bulldogs anymore. But the point is, stuff can change. We've seen in the last 5 years, Georgia win 2 championships. The Braves win 1. Guys, what if the Falcons win? What if they win? What if they win a championship? Can you imagine if you wake up tomorrow?
Can't use what if, because that's a TV show for Marvel. You can't use what if. That's a TV show that's for Marvel. It's when we.
That's right. That's right. That's right. All I'm saying is, guys, no, we can't win it for them, but we can help lose it. I believe in that. So all I'm saying is think about it like a relationship. If you're in a relationship and it ends and you gave your best, you can feel good about it. You can walk away knowing you did everything you can do, and that's okay. But if you don't, right? If you playing games, then you might walk away feeling like, man, I could have really had something there. That's how I equate fanhood and falcondom. Look, whether I'm watching from my TV, whether I'm watching from the stadium, wherever I'm watching for, I'm 100% in tune with my Falcons. I'm rooting them on. I'm cheering them on. I'm sending them positive energy. Let's embrace that. Let's for one season, let's embrace that. And if we can, let's look at where we can go, and that's it. My shout out. Hey, thank God for my family. Thank God for my wife. Thank God for my mom. Thank God for my job. Thank God for Jack. Thank God for you fans. Thank God for my Falcons. That's it. Jack, what you got, buddy?
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Terry, when you preach well. So big shout out to Terry here for talking Falcons football and, of course, keeping it real with the Falcons fans in the chat. You see on the screen, there is the 2024 opponents up right here, so Falcon fans know that at home we have the Saints, we have the Panthers, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Giants. I totally forgot what the name of this team is. The Chargers, the Steelers, and the Seahawks. And then, of course, we have our division rivals on the road. We have the Eagles, we have the Broncos, we have the Raiders, we have the Vikings, and we have the Commanders. So for Falcon fans in the chat, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We have a big 2024 schedule release show coming up on Wednesday, right? We're going to be back Sunday night for a podcast, but we have a big 2024 schedule release show on Wednesday. We're going to have members of the Rise Up Tour fan club in here talking Falcons football and talking about the schedule. What is so important about this schedule release? You're probably asking, Jack, you keep talking about this Rise Up Tour fan club. You keep talking about this schedule release podcast. What is so important about this schedule release podcast? All they're going to do is just say when and where the Falcons are going to be playing. Like week 1, they're going to have Minnesota, or week 2, they're going to have Denver, or week 3, they're going to play against the Giants. But here at the Rise Up Tour fan club, it's big for us because we travel to these away games. We put on these events, these parties and everything on the road, and fans really have a good time with what we have going on. So I know there's some fans that have been asking, hey, man, I'm going to sign up because it's a membership-based group too as well, and we are pretty deep in members. So once again, we had some fans that hit me up and said, man, I'm going to sign up when the schedule drops. I just need to know when we're playing against the Raiders in Vegas because I want to go ahead and book my schedule and take off time from work, and I got to make sure I got a babysitter. That's all cool. That's all great. For Falcon fans, got some more member requests. But for Falcon fans that's trying to join a fan club, and we do a lot when it comes to going on the road. The parties is one thing. I'm sure you all have seen those. I'm sure you all have heard of them. You can ask Pastor Troy too as well. Big shout out to Pastor Troy. But when we go on the road, we provide a service of pretty much excellence for Falcon fans to hang out, have a good time with other Falcon fans. And then we have some discounts too as well that fans can save some money on the road. Terry, I'm going to give you a little quick heads up here for Falcon fans that were asking about the tour with their discounts. How you guys do the discounts? Well, take Arizona, for instance, last year, right? So if you were going to sign up to be a member in Arizona, or if you were going to sign up to be a member of the Rise Up Tour last year, your membership would have covered a lot of things. But one of the things that your membership covered was the host hotels that we have when we go out of town. Now, in Arizona, the room in Arizona was $479.
Wow.
A night. That is the Marriott Renaissance, which is right outside of State Farm Stadium. Literally, it's right outside of State Farm Arena in Glendale. If you was a member of the Rise Up Tour, you would have got the room for $225.
Wow.
So being a member of the tour saved you almost $200 a night. Oh, okay. $200 plus a night. Going out of town with Falcon fans.
That's 50%. That's 50%.
On the road. Damn near.
Yeah.
So for fans that were traveling, which the ones that we met from out of town who wasn't part of our group, they said, man, we paid like $1,700 for our room. $1,400 for our room. And we had members of our group that was traveling the same time, and they paid less than $1,000.
Damn.
So for Falcon fans in the chat, what we do with the Rise Up Tour fan club is a great thing. If you want to be a part of the Rise Up Tour fan club, please make sure you use in the chat. I'm going to put the promo code in the chat. So I don't want to hear anybody say, hey, chat, man, what a promo code? It's in the chat. OTFTF is the promo code, and it's in the chat right now. So if you go sign up for one time, if you go sign up for the Rise Up Tour fan club, head on over to the Facebook page, or I can send the link in the chat too as well to head to the website with OTFTF promo code for those to get the discount. Falcon fans, here's the great thing. We have a show Sunday. We have a show next Wednesday. Then we have a show coming up following Friday. We have a lot of special guests going to be joining us here in a matter of a couple days. We want everybody to enjoy themselves here at One Time for the Fan. So for the new subscribers, welcome to One Time for the Fan. For our day one subscribers, for our day one crew, please welcome the new subscribers here at One Time for the Fan.
Yes.
We're a family here, right? We don't do no arguing, no bashing. There's that one Jags fan who kind of shows up every random once in a while, talks some trash, and he gets the hell on. But otherwise than that, it's a safe space for Falcon fans to join the podcast here, talk Falcons in the channel, in the chat with other Falcon fans, and we can all win at the end of the day. I think right now, Lisa Shepard and Pam Johnson and Alberto and Jay and Raymond Collins, they're all having a conversation there too as well. Damon Jones is in the chat. He said you can definitely make the place loud and drag them by the jerseys into the playoffs. Unadulterated noise for 2024 and beyond. Create the hostile environment is what we need to do here. Terry's been talking about it. Now we have an opportunity to really show up and get it done, because we have the Cowboys, we got the Chiefs, we got the Steelers, even the Giants. I mean, we got 4 strong fan bases that's getting ready to enter the Benz here in a matter of months. And then you go on the road, you got Philly, right? Minnesota. I've been in Minnesota. The Vikings fan base is strong out there in Minnesota. Like they love that horn, that skull clap shit. They love that shit, right? Yep. So it's going down in a major way. Terry, you did give your shout outs mixed in with the sermon too as well. Do you want to go ahead and give another shout out too as well? Any without bringing out the Bible or anything? That's what I'm just playing. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody else here on the channel before we wrap it up?
Hey man, again, just thank God. God is so good, man. Thank God for him. Obviously, shout out to my mom and my family and my wife of 31 years. Yeah, that's it. Good.
This is great. Falcon fans, hit the like, hit the share, hit that subscribe button. Shout outs go to everybody here on the channel. Goes to the Atlanta Falcons, goes to my family, and of course my friends. We just want to make sure we have another great day as we get closer to Falcons schedule. I can't wait for this. I can't wait to get started, man. I really can't wait to get out here, see this team practice, I'm feeling like a player because a player is sitting over there in the locker room like, I can't wait to put this helmet on and get out there and go bust some heads. Right? So Falcon fans talking Falcons football on a Falcons Friday. This is what it's all about. One time for the fan. Terry, I see you Sunday, sir.